I'm standing in the courtyard of wonderful San Anselmo in Rome. In many ways, this is the mother church of the Benedictine movement around the world. We're filming, of course, for our Pivotal Players series, and one of the most pivotal of all the pivotal players was St. Benedict, a young man who came here to Rome for studies, found the city in its corruption and so on off-putting, and then left to become a hermit for a while, and then around him formed a small community. And in many ways, that's the beginning of the monastic movement in the West. And I say he's the most pivotal of all the pivotal players because he preserves not only the life of the Christian church, but in many ways, all the Western civilization. The very fact that we know anything about the classical world is largely due to his Benedictine family that preserved ancient civilization. So for all these reasons, Benedict is, of course, a major figure. I think one reason he's very important for us today especially is during a time of crisis, he did what a lot of the great saints have done, is he opted to live the Christian life in a radical way. Think of young Benedict now, a life of poverty and simplicity, of complete trust in God's providence. At a time when the civilization in general, the church in particular, were in crisis, he lived the Christian thing radically and dramatically. There he's a bit like Francis Dominic many centuries later, a bit like Ignatius of Loyola some centuries after that, a bit like figures like Charles de Foucault and Mother Teresa in the 20th century. During times of crisis, we need certain saints to live the Christian life radically and thereby bring it back to its evangelical roots. And I think that's partly the call for our time. Especially in the West, the church is going through a real internal crisis. I think the sex abuse scandal, certainly in the United States, the greatest difficulty in the history of our church, one of the greatest in the history of the church in general. So what do? Well, I think saints arise, and saints do what Benedict did long ago, is they decide to go back to the evangelical basics. So I'll be looking at a number of aspects of Benedict's life and teaching, largely focused on the rule as I go through this episode. But I want to bring forward this basic idea that I think he continues to sing across the centuries to our time. And it's very important for us to revisit this extremely pivotal player.